Good morning, and welcome to Justice News. I'm Jenni Ellis, and today we'll be interviewing our guest, Taelyr Ellis. We'll be talking about the YCJA. So, Taelyr, what exactly is the YCJA?
Well, the first thing that you should know is that YCJA stands for the Youth Criminal Justice Act. It's an government organization that helps youth 12 to 17 years old who are in trouble with the law. Instead of letting youths go to jail where they can be influenced by other criminals, the YCJA will ensure that they get community service and or counseling.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, now that we actually know what it is, how is the YCJA different from all the other previous youth legislations in Canada?
That's actually a very good question. We found that the Young Offenders Act, YOA, wasn't working as well as it should have been for Canadians. Too many youths were being charged, and some were even going to jail. They ended up serving jail sentences with adult criminals. Most people think that the sentences were unfair and that they weren't charged appropriately. Youths, and I think this is even worse, didn't get rehabilitation or reintegration.
That's horrible.
I know.
One thing that I'd really like to know is the intentions of the Youth Criminal Justice Act.
Well, some of our intentions are making that youth sentences are given fairly and proportionately, making sure that youth's rights are protected and respected. We try to resolve the problems that the child has at their home or school and look into the reasons that they could have done what they did. We enable meaningful consequences. We give the youth rehabilitation and reintegrate them back into society. We support the reintegration, and we encourage inclusive approach to youth crime.
Those are some great intentions, Taelyr.
Thank you.
So, I'm a Canadian citizen and a resident of Calgary. How could I participate in the process?
Well, one thing I can know for certain that you can do is vote. To vote, you have to be 18 or older, be a Canadian citizen, and establish proof of your identity and your address. You can also volunteer to help work with youth in rehabilitation or volunteer for jury duty.
What are some common opinions that people usually have in some different perspectives?
Well, I find that there's two different perspectives. The perspective of the youth and the perspective of the parent, guardians, or adults. The youth think that it's great because they get let off easy for committing a crime, no matter how serious it is, and getting in trouble with the law. The most common opinion is probably that people think it isn't actually strict enough. One that isn't so common is that people actually agree with what the YCJA are doing. What's your opinion on it?
Well, I'm one of those people that actually agree with the YCJA and what they are trying to accomplish.
Well, I'm glad.
How do you think the YCJA can solve some of its problems?
I think that the problem where people think it isn't strict enough, even though youth crime has dropped by 25%, cannot be solved because there's no way to change that and keep the goals, intentions, and what the YCJA do and have the same.
25%? That's great. And the other part is true. Well, I think so anyways. Please continue.
Charges against youth have fallen by at least 10% as police are increasing their use of informal warning and referrals to community-based programs. Some people think that this is a problem, while others don't. We can't really fix this either because no matter what, someone will always think that something's wrong with it. One thing that we might try to do is split the uses of these things half and half or vote because then it'll be fair to both groups.
Well, that's a hard problem to solve. Well, good luck in solving those problems. I hope that you can help all of the troubled youth that you encounter. Well, that's all we have tonight for Justice News. Thank you, Taelyr, for coming in, and we'll see you tomorrow night.